If you are a college student, then you most likely will encounter different types of professors out there in your college, whether it's your online college or in-person college classes. But today, I'll be talking about these college professors that you'll most likely encounter during your college years. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jeremy and I post college content videos every week, whether it's advice, tips, my life, or whatever. So don't forget to hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button as well if you haven't yet. So basically the type of college professors I'm going to explain to you guys are basically college professors that I've encountered multiple times in the past. And these are the college professors that, you know, some I like and some I really don't. But anyways, without further ado, let's just jump right into the list. So the first type of professor is going to be the default professor, okay? So it's like kind of playing a video game, you know, when you have NPCs, it's just like a default, you know, it's just, now what I mean by default professor is basically just, you know, something you expect out of a college professor. Something really normal, something really typical. You can just go into class, you know, the professor's somewhat chill, somewhat not at times, and they'll assign you homework and you just do the homework, you pay attention to lecture notes, and you just, you know, you study for your exam and boom, you know, it's just a regular professor, you know, nothing bad. This is what you expect out of like rate my professors for like a 4 or like a 4.5, right? Now the second type of college professor is gonna be the egotistic one. You'd always at least encounter one of these college professors somewhere, or at least a little bit of this college professor, okay? So the egotistic professor would usually brag about like, you know, back when I was in college, I had a 4.0 GPA and this is how I do it, you know? I guess it's cool that you're trying to give us advice, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you know what? This is how you're supposed to succeed in college, but you know, you don't have to mention your 4.0 GPA, you're, you know, president of the student association. You don't need to brag, you know, just to make that point across. You don't need to make yourself like look good, you know what I'm saying? Like there's always this type of professor, and I remember clearly, okay, in my college, somebody was like, yeah, you know what? I used to get 4.0s back in high school, back in college as a student. You know, I could basically read every single one of my students' minds, like, okay, dude, you know, we don't care really. Like, stop talking about yourself and just go on with your damn lecture, right? The third type of college professors is gonna be the chill one. You know, they go very light on homework. They give you like study guides and reviews for tests. And you know, it's like, you know, those professors, like, you don't even need to address me as Professor Bob, for example, right? You can just call me Bob, or you can just call me David, right? It's like those type of professors, like, all right, like, you know, we're about to build a connection over here. Literally, one of my professors or one of my instructors, I'll say, is a really chill professor. So he's my statistics professor, and honestly, like, I love this guy, dude. I love taking his class. He's such a meme, you know. He plays video games and he would, you know, type race us in a Discord chat, and it's just always lit, okay? So recently I checked my statistics grade on a website and I thought I freaking failed this exam, okay, or this quiz. And I messaged my professor and I was like, you know, is there anything I could do about it? You know, I screwed up. I checked my grade, it was like a 60% or something. And he's like, dude, sorry, like, there's nothing you can do about it, basically, right? But then he's like, psych, just kidding. Like, actually, I updated your grade on Blackboard instead, which is the platform that we use for our school. He's like, yeah, go check it out there, you know? So basically, he was just like messing with me. And honestly, it gave me a good scare, but at the same time, you know, I was like, holy shit, like, this guy is actually a funny guy, you know what I'm saying? So basically, a chill professor is the type of professor you probably want for all your college classes, or, you know, try to look for them on Rate My Professors. You know, like, people will be like, oh yeah, he's the chillest professor ever, or like, he's the best professor ever. Then you already know you better have a good time in that class. All right, next up, we're gonna have the fourth one, which is gonna be the forgetful type of professor. Now, you've probably came across this type of professor before. You know, they sometimes forget to upload grades. You know, you're like halfway through the quarter or the semester and you have no grades uploaded. And then, you know, they're always like, you know, I'm gonna upload this assignment. I'm gonna upload, you know, this exam material, this study guide tomorrow, right? And then somehow they forget and we're like, where's the paper? Where's the file, you know? And it doesn't get uploaded until like a few days later and you're just like, bruh. Sometimes you go up to this professor and you're like, hey, I made a mistake on my homework, you know? Like, I meant to do this, can you fix it? And they're like, yeah, sure, I'll fix it, no problem. And then later on, they just never end up fixing it because they forgot, and then you have to remind them again. And last but not least, the fifth professor is gonna be the old school one. And you already know these professors because when you go join Zoom, when you go join, you know, Google Meets or whatever you guys are using, right? They just seem to not know what they're doing. Like, they're just looking at the screen like blank, and they're like, you know, how do I mute people, or how do I go into breakout rooms, or, you know, it's just stuff like that. Like, how do you admit people into the Zoom, right? It's like these people are obviously, like, I don't blame them. This is like new technology, but you know, there's always just those professors that just seem to be a little more or less tech savvy than others, okay? And just in general, like, you know, when you want to submit your homework, you have to open up a new like submission, right? Whether it's like Turnitin, Blackboard, Canvas, whatever you use. And you know, sometimes these people they just don't know how to do that. I don't know how you have to do it. Maybe you just have to submit it through email. I mean, that's one way I did it last time. I just have to email the professor when you could have just, you know, opened it up on Blackboard, right, as a submission file. That would have been so much easier. But no, it's gonna be like 100 students emailing that professor, which is inefficient. But you know what? They're old school, you know, they're like boomers, so what can we expect, right? So, and there's also a time where like I've opened up a quiz and then you have the questions and the answers, but you don't even have like options, okay? Like, you know, usually when you take a quiz online, you have the little like bullet points or like the buttons where you can click on your answer and hit submit. But this one's legit just a big text file and you have to do your answers on a sheet of paper and you have to email them, right? It's just a very old school professor. You wish your life would be easier with a more tech savvy professor, but an old school professor is just, you know what, we can't blame them. You know, technology is evolving and they can't catch up, so it's not really our problem, but we have to deal with it. So those are basically the 5 types of professors that I could probably think of when I'm in college. And probably most of you guys have already encountered as well or will encounter in college, so keep a lookout for those people. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button down below as well, because as y'all know, I do post my college videos weekly. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all next week. Bye guys.